You know who made a campaign stop on the Joe Rogan podcast Friday night. And with all the issues Americans are going to be voting on, you know where they started the interview? Take a look.
A surprising secret has been found in Whoopi Goldberg's house, shocking even the most seasoned investigators of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. What gave rise to the raid on the estate of the renowned actress? When the doors are locked, what secrets are being kept? Worst of all, why has no one ever told the truth? Our entire understanding of Goldberg has been upended by the newly discovered evidence, and this is only the beginning of the narrative. You can almost hear the leaves crunching underfoot in the quiet area where Whoopi Goldberg's estate sits as the sun rises over the horizon. However, that serenity was disturbed this morning by the deafening din of motors roaring, the sound of rushed footfall, and an air of tension that was palpable. Even though it was just 5 a.m., the sun was still not up. Almost everyone in the neighborhood was still fast asleep, with the exception of a few of retirees who got up early every day to go for walks. Something was obviously off though, and they saw it right away. Out of nowhere, a group of black SUVs without license plates came thundering in, advancing slowly but decisively. Out of the automobiles emerged a group of emotionless men wearing black suits, Kevlar vests, and sunglasses. They moved swiftly to encircle Whoopi Goldberg's house, blocking all exits and preventing anybody from entering or departing. Afterwards, POW. 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 An early morning thud resounded through the house when someone banged on the door. Nobody was being delicate or hesitating. The visit was out of the ordinary. A raid had taken place. Light poured in through the upper floor window, indicating that the mansion's owner had roused from his slumber. Slowly, the massive wooden door swung wide, and there stood Whoopi Goldberg, a figure known across the country for having weathered the Hollywood storms, but never before confronted anything like this. Whoopi remained calm and collected despite having only just woken up. Her hair hanging loosely, she had a pale gray robe. While they stood at the entrance, her gaze darted across the throng of agents. Rather than terror, there was a mixture of astonishment and perplexion. "I don't understand." Seriousness and composure were in her voice. Stepping forward, an agent produced an FBI badge and proceeded to get a file from a dark briefcase. "Our investigation is authorized by a search warrant. The federal government is looking into this." A bomb went off in the early fog with that remark. The moment the door swung wide, the agents swarmed in, immediately claiming the entire estate. The curious neighbors, who had started to congregate, were now standing in groups, chatting amongst themselves. Who could have predicted that? Big-time Whoopi Goldberg. Disbelief rocked the middle-aged woman's mind. Hollywood loves her. Where does her involvement with the FBI fit in? A third person murmured. The anxiety, however, was further heightened by the rumors. As soon as word got out, a few reporters rushed over, their cameras aimed high, to attempt to catch every second of the tragedy. To help keep the mob under control, the local police were also sent in. They blocked off access to the mansion area with barriers. The scenario was made more dramatic and chaotic by the constant flickering of camera flashes, which reflected on the windows of the FBI car. A comprehensive search was also taking place within the opulent property. The agents are organized into teams, and their tasks are defined. They went door to door, opened drawer after drawer, and rearranged books on every shelf, making sure nothing was missed. Whoopi crossed her arms and stood still in the center of the living room. As they swarmed her home, she stared at them intently. For sure, she had one piece of information. There was a good reason why the FBI showed up at her house. But why? What might have led them to mistrust her? An agent came up to her, made eye contact, and asked directly, "Would you like us to contact your attorney?" in a very forceful manner. "I believe that's the right thing to do," Whoopi agreed after taking a long breath. The FBI had a compelling motive to carry out this operation, even though nobody knew what they were searching for specifically. In Whoopi's personal library, a pair of agents clad in white gloves gingerly opened a drawer. Here she preserved a plethora of vital records, including screenplays, contracts, and letters written by herself throughout the years. A single agent withdrew a stack of papers and meticulously turned each page. The basement, which is seldom checked, was being examined by a separate crew on the opposite side of the home. Each item was examined meticulously when the old dusty crates were opened. "I believe we found something," one agent said out of the blue. Without delay, the whole FBI squad stationed in the estate assembled. From a concealed nook, a metal box was extracted. No one had messed with it in years, and it was locked. Whoopi, who was standing nearby, narrowed her eyes. She spoke carefully, saying, "I've never seen that box before." After exchanging looks, the agents snatched the package and hurried it outside. Carefully sealing it and transferring it to a specialist truck, they refrained from opening it immediately. The FBI ultimately departed the residence after hours of searching. To the press, they made no comment. We did not release any formal remarks. Standing in her house, a famous actress was left with nothing but unanswered questions and a heavy heart. Even while the throng outside started to thin away, word of the stories kept spreading. Headlines in the newspapers started appearing instantly. House of Whoopi Goldberg raided by the FBI. I don't understand. What did the FBI discover about the hidden truths of Whoopi's estate? The American people were on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting any news that would shed light on the ongoing inquiry. Everything might be altered by that knowledge. Controversy has always followed Whoopi Goldberg. Her career as one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces has been fraught with highs and lows, from critical acclaim and box office successes to periods of fierce scrutiny over her political beliefs. However, this time around, everything is different. Neither a TV discussion nor a critical magazine piece can be considered this. Controversial remarks are the reason the FBI is staying out of it. Serious investigation of her is underway. It was hardly an impulsive decision to loot Whoopi Goldberg's estate. Everyone in the police department knows that the FBI will not search a building unless they have enough proof. This brings up an important inquiry. How many episodes of Whoopi have they seen thus far? The FBI reportedly started monitoring the actress some months ago, according to multiple individuals close to the matter. While their precise needs remain unknown, one thing is certain. This is a major issue. Government agencies do not squander resources on insignificant matters. The issuance of a search warrant indicates a strong belief in the gravity of the situation. What exactly made Whoopi Goldberg a target, though, is the most pressing topic. Theoretically, this may constitute a financial probe, according to some lawyers. A large number of famous people have faced criminal charges in recent years related to tax evasion or questionable commercial dealings. Why does the FBI appear so worked up if it's only a tax problem? I don't understand why an armed task group would visit the house of a senior actress. Is there anything else that's more concerning happening? Throughout her long career, Whoopi Goldberg has been the target of constant criticism from the general people. No matter the consequences, she will not hesitate to say what's on her mind. As a longtime co-host of The View, she has been the target of criticism for remarks she made while there. She became one of the most controversial people in show business due to her passionate disputes with guests and her outspoken remarks about society and politics. Whoopi has never been in such danger for her career, despite the fact that she has been involved in a number of scandals. Speculation on the raid quickly went viral on social media. Whoopi Goldberg was the subject of several posts on social media sites including Reddit, Twitter, and TikTok. It was thought by some to be only a miscommunication. Some people even started speculating about possible FBI investigations based on conspiracy theories. This chance was not squandered by the media. Suddenly, every newspaper had sensational headlines. The entertainment industry was taken aback. House of Whoopi Goldberg raided by the FBI. I don't understand. An inquiry into one of the most iconic American actresses is underway. Is her career in jeopardy? The event even generated much discussion on late-night talk shows. Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert were among the hosts who made sardonic comments about the occasion. An indisputable fact, however, lay behind those jokes. A huge storm was brewing over Whoopi Goldberg's reputation. The FBI did not make any formal remarks after departing Whoopi Goldberg's estate. Nothing was said about the charges, the box that was taken away, or the indictment. However, their lack of reaction heightened the story's dramatic tension. Many of Whoopi's admirers were afraid this was it for her illustrious career. The ongoing probe might jeopardize her advertising contracts, film invites, and perhaps her employment on The View. At the same time, her detractors were ecstatic. Some of her detractors said that they were seeking revenge for her previous contentious remarks and started posting articles criticizing her. On the other hand, Whoopi Goldberg is unbeatable. Whoopi chose to speak up only a short time following the attack. She seemed composed in front of the camera on a special edition of The View, but there was unmasked rage in her eyes. I understand your point of view. I want to be quite clear, I've heard everything. I am completely transparent. Despite her brevity, her message on the probe was quite obvious. Her career and reputation would remain untarnished by this episode. Would her statements, however, be sufficient to silence the rumors? The FBI has been mum on the specifics of the probe, so nobody knows what happened. At this point, the issue becomes, what is actually happening? Will Whoopi Goldberg be able to stay strong through this? The FBI investigators entered Whoopi Goldberg's lavish property to a deafening quiet. A soft glow from the flashlights illuminated every crevice, every bookcase, and every artwork that was expertly displayed. It took some digging, but they eventually found what they were seeking. Somewhere, in the depths of this house's mysteries, it lay concealed. An agent observed something strange on the wall behind the office as the search continued. A narrow, nearly imperceptible groove spanned the length of the wall's base. An agent touched it by mistake, and a click resounded across the otherwise silent room. At first glance, it appeared to be just an ordinary ornamental element. The whole task force came to a halt. They shifted their gaze to the wall. Because of his extensive training in finding secret passages, one of the spies knelt down and traced his index finger along the crease. A click resounded, but this time something strange had changed with it. A portion of the wall started to swish open, exposing a little door that hadn't been included in the house plans. The agents glanced at each other rapidly. What was beyond the door was a mystery to everybody. And in that anxious instant, they drew their weapons, ready for anything. A gloomy basement was accessible through a small corridor that the door opened onto. It seemed like the air within had not been touched in years. It was dense with a musty odor. Afterwards, they went inside. Compared to the rest of the estate, the secret chamber was really unique. Dusty wooden shelves and a weathered table occupied the room's sole focal point, with no windows to let in any natural light. The agent was particularly interested in the metal containers that were neatly arranged in one area. The containers had been airtight for what seemed like an eternity. The first box was opened by an agent. The contents included several antique documents, many of which bore the marks of secrecy. Although some of the papers had been yellowed from age, what was within remained unaltered. A second agent skimmed the papers and identified prominent personalities from the entertainment sector and politics among the names. However, these records were not the most startling item. At the very base of the container was an antiquated letter, meticulously penned on substantial parchment paper and protected by a vibrant wax seal. For decades, if not longer, this letter had been lying about. However, it was the sender who truly caught the FBI off guard. An insignia that had surfaced in a significant case that the FBI had never resolved could be seen on the seal. The head agent took the letter in his hands and studied every stroke. Even though the sender didn't sign their entire name, a key hint was provided in a portion of the message. Discovering this letter would indicate that the truth was always designed to remain hidden. The writing was enigmatic and ambiguous, as if intended for a future reader or as a warning to someone present. Whoopi Goldberg's residence was the destination of the mysterious letter, but how did it get there? The FBI had a hunch that the wax seal and contents of the letters pointed to a long-lost, secret case that had never been made public. According to some insiders, this case had ties to a long-standing mystery involving a missing person and one of the largest scandals in Hollywood history. Did Whoopi Goldberg know this chamber even existed? That was the most crucial question. Were these classified papers known to her? Maybe it was something she had unknowingly acquired by mistake. The FBI was aware that they should not assume anything. The documents in question may provide vital information on a long-lost case or may hold the key to unveiling a secret that several individuals want to conceal. One thing, nevertheless, was assured. That was not the conclusion of the research. Word quickly spread about the hidden chamber. Many news organizations ran with the story, rivaling to publish this groundbreaking finding. Whoopi Goldberg's property has a secret vault, according to the FBI. Where was the secret she was trying to convey? Speculation ranged from reasonable anecdotes to completely implausible conspiracy fantasies. In the minds of some, Whoopi Goldberg could be concealing some major Hollywood secret. Some went so far as to speculate that the whole affair was part of a bigger conspiracy. Whatever the case may be, Whoopi Goldberg had gone from being a famous actress to the focal point of one of the greatest riddles the FBI had ever encountered. And the most important question was still unsolved. I don't understand what the letter meant. Who would the FBI follow as a result? Word quickly spread that the FBI had raided Whoopi Goldberg's estate. Major news outlets, including newspapers, TV, and social media, were inundated with explosive headlines within hours. Every newly disclosed detail was immediately examined by netizens. The FBI was only starting to decipher documents discovered in the hidden chamber, which no one could have foreseen at the time. It appeared as though all signs were pointing to a remarkable theory. Does Whoopi Goldberg have any connection to a terrible event that occurred in Hollywood's past? Upon opening the sealed documents in the hidden area, the FBI discovered that the majority of them were not merely personal paperwork. The papers included correspondence between Whoopi Goldberg and prominent Hollywood personalities, including directors, producers, and even the brains behind the most influential studios. Specifically, the agency became interested in a correspondence with Howard L. Emerson. Even while the general population may not be familiar with this moniker, it served as an important indication inside the investigative community. Emerson withdrew from Hollywood and the film business after having a huge impact from the 1970s through the 1990s. In 1994, he made his final public appearance before a financial scandal involving a major studio emerged. He allegedly severed ties with Hollywood and departed the country. Whoopi Goldberg had correspondence with this individual. Why? A letter written and signed by Whoopi Goldberg and sent in 1993 was one of the papers that the FBI found very intriguing. Know what happened that night was the passage mentioned in the letter. We are all going to get into trouble if the truth is out. Which one was it that night? Whoopi was worried enough to write these remarks. What occurred to make her so? A further letter, issued a few months down the road, appeared to be an attempt at reassurance. Remain silent, they will not discover anything. The FBI has not yet ascertained the genuine context of these letters, which may include proof of a broader plot. Nevertheless, when they persisted in examining other records, a single piece of evidence clarified everything. Notes on the video read, "Do not watch, private, and it is an outdated VHS." It didn't take long for the agents to get the tape back to the lab and retrieve its contents. However, one could tell by the weathered exterior that any valuables it may have contained may have been concealed for a long time. The FBI's examination of Whoopi Goldberg's ties to the late 80s and early 90s entertainment sector revealed that she maintained tight links with a few of influential persons. Some of their identities were associated with a long-forgotten controversy that the media had either ignored or hushed up. In 1991, following allegations of wrongdoing against a prominent Hollywood personality, a young actor vanished without a trace. The accuser's name remained secret, though, and the lawsuit was swiftly abandoned. At this point, the FBI wanted to know if Whoopi Goldberg was aware of what had happened. Was she somehow engaged, whether deliberately or accidentally? Most importantly, may the papers discovered in her home unlock the mystery of this long-forgotten case? People started freaking out as soon as word got out about the documents in the mansion. Those who had followed Whoopi Goldberg for decades found the new theories perplexing. She may have been unwittingly involved in something in the past that she did not intend to be involved in, according to others. Some thought she was concealing something significant, and the FBI investigation was only the beginning of what would eventually be revealed. A deluge of information that may alter the public's perception of Whoopi Goldberg now faced the FBI. There may be much more beneath the surface than what they uncovered in the hidden room. Who knows what was on that VHS cassette? Did the letters actually pertain to a significant scandal from the past? Also, what would happen to Whoopi Goldberg's career and image if the truth came out? It was confident of one thing. That was not the end of the study. Everything may shift depending on the FBI's next discovery. Whoopi Goldberg was the target of widespread media conjecture after the FBI raided her residence, shocking Hollywood in the process. Several theories were put forth. Where was the secret she was trying to convey? Did the confiscated documents pertain to an alarming secret? What prompted the FBI to take such a strong stance? People were left to speculate for days. Then, in the middle of the maelstrom, Whoopi Goldberg spoke up, and her words stunned everyone. A composed and resolute Whoopi Goldberg gave an exclusive interview on a major American television show. "If you think that's a fun way to start your day, you're very wrong," she remarked, taking a deep breath as she stared directly into the camera in response to the host's question about the raid. Whoopi demonstrated right away that she was not going to skirt the subject. She chuckled and stated, "They discovered some old letters, some movie scripts, and apparently a bunch of history books in response to a question on the FBI's mysteriously obtained documents. The fact that I am a collector should have probably been a red flag." She insisted there was no need to be concerned about the papers kept in the back room. She kept them as a memento of her work spanning decades. But a wholly unexpected revelation was the one that shocked the general population the most. No one should have hid anything alarming in the secret chamber. It turned out to be a private museum. The forgotten chapters of Hollywood's past have always captivated me. Everything in that room was simply my personal assemblage of stuff that I had deemed intriguing during the years. She clarified that the FBI investigated letters exchanged with Howard L. Emerson were only idle chatter about unrealized film concepts. Stories that were too divisive at the time or movies that were never produced were topics of our conversation. I'm done. Simply two movie buffs, no plot, no crime. Nonetheless, the interrogation continued beyond a description of the confiscated papers. Whoopi waited a second before responding with a mysterious smile when asked if she believed the raid was part of a plot to depose her. Hollywood, well, you never know what to expect. Overly inquisitive persons have their dislikes. A flurry of fresh assumptions was set in motion by this pronouncement. Who initiated this probe? Was Whoopi Goldberg the object of an intentional attempt to bring her down? The raid on Whoopi's estate was prompted by an anonymous tip, according to some industry sources. Who might have possibly leaked this information and wanted to implicate Whoopi Goldberg in such a scandal? Opinions were all over the map as soon as the interview went live. Many thought Whoopi was totally innocent, caught in the middle of something, or maybe a political plot. Although a lot of individuals continued to be wary. If the matter was so straightforward, why would the FBI conduct a raid on her estate? And most crucially, had Whoopi Goldberg withheld anything? Too many issues remained unsolved, regardless of how credible her account appeared. There had been no publication of the VHS video discovered in the hidden chamber by the FBI. Was it only a classic film? Or does it really hold the key to a world of change? The solution remained ahead. Maybe this was only the first clue to a much larger mystery. Studios, co-workers, and fans all responded strongly in the days after the tragedy, changing the entertainment business as a whole. Hollywood star and cinematic queen Whoopi Goldberg found herself in the eye of a never-before-seen tempest. Would she be able to persevere through it, or would this permanently damage her career? Big studios started taking decisive action within a week of the attack. The development of a film starring Whoopi Goldberg was abruptly and irrevocably halted. According to a Hollywood insider, production companies are being careful. At this moment, no one wants their name linked to scandal. She was involved in the production of a documentary about the history of Hollywood, but it was canceled due to concerns about the project's appropriateness. When some of the show's advertisers started pulling out, tensions rose even on The View, the talk show co-hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. Hollywood is known for its practicality. The world turns to see you when you're shining. But they'll swiftly abandon you if a controversy has landed you in their sights. The media's focus shifted to Whoopi Goldberg's predicament very immediately. And it was too much for the art world to overlook. Others defended her, saying the FBI raid was irrational and without merit. However, there were dissenting opinions. Be careful not to bring up Whoopi Goldberg in interviews if you know any of these industry heavyweights. Her former co-workers even went so far as to covertly remove all mentions of her from their social media accounts. Nobody was prepared to put their names out there to support her, it seemed. Not only was Hollywood split, but so were the public's views. Some viewers thought Whoopi Goldberg was the object of a larger plot, that the FBI had gone too far, and that there wasn't enough proof to convict her. On the other hand, some people were anxious. It was hard for the FBI to take Whoopi Goldberg's side due to the mystery surrounding the confiscated documents, the unsolved issues, and the fact that they did not issue an official inquiry result. The already delicate situation for Whoopi Goldberg became even more so as a result of the split public opinion. Even while everyone in Hollywood was talking, the FBI said nothing. There were no changes to the probe, no fresh information, and no formal pronouncements. The air of secrecy heightened the air of intrigue. Do you think the FBI was getting ready to make a big announcement, or are they trying to figure out how to discreetly back out of their mess? As one media expert put it, silence is more dangerous than words at times. People will begin to fill in the gaps on their own unless the FBI provides clarification quickly. True, the most outlandish hypotheses surfaced as a result of the lack of resolution. The tabloids went so far as to claim that an unseen power in Hollywood was plotting Whoopi Goldberg's demise. Regardless of the veracity of the report, the most evident thing at this point was the significant threat to Whoopi Goldberg's reputation. Could Whoopi Goldberg get over this shock? That was the most pressing concern at the moment. Hollywood has saw its fair share of stars plummet following high-profile scandals, but it has also seen its fair share of stars rise above and continue to shine. One of the most powerful figures in show business, Whoopi Goldberg is also an incredibly powerful lady and gifted performer. Would it, however, be sufficient to enable her to endure this tempest? We will have to wait and see. This narrative was far from done, though. Unexpectedly, the FBI uncovered something, but the most pressing question persisted. Whoopi Goldberg, what was the significance of this? The audience had only seen the first page of a new chapter that had been opened. Even more stunning revelations might be revealed as the truth keeps unraveling.